Hi everyone, welcome to Insights by Johnita Francis. I am your host, Johnita Francis. Thank you very much for tuning in once again. Not sure how the weather is going in your neck of the woods, but it is certainly very, very hot here in Sydney. We've got 42 degrees Celsius today, so that's basically our entire outdoor is a sauna. It's very, very hot. Little reprieve tomorrow and then go straight back into 43 degrees on Saturday. So it's very, very warm at the moment. So hello, summer for us Southerners. Today I wanted to let you know there's been a lot of talk about intuitive abilities and to be able to, how to tap in your own. Oh, I've just had some feedback, 109 Fahrenheit, so it's 109 for you guys over in the States. So it might make a bit more sense why we keep fanning ourselves and we're very, very warm here today. So but what I wanted to talk about is to let you know that I've actually formulated a whole bunch of workshops to help people harness, enhance, grow their intuitive abilities. And I haven't just done it from a medium point of view or from a psychic point of view. I've actually got a whole bunch of modalities that I've covered off, purely because there's different horses, different courses. So everybody's attracted to something different. For me, I like to be challenged and I like to have my fingers in lots of different pies, and I like to be able to look at different things and see what resonates well with me. And I can't necessarily do that by talking to someone. I have to sort of get my hands in there and see how it feels for me more than anything at all. So that's why I developed these workshops. So the first one, of course, is a hot topic because everybody wants to learn how to read cards. A lot of people love reading cards. Not a lot of people do it intuitively. We grabbed our deck, it's got beautiful artwork on it, we're amazed by it, and then we study the book. And when we study the book, we put ourselves under so much pressure to memorize what all of those different meanings are, what all of the different cards mean, and in which context. So it's not just the spreads and where things are in a particular spread and what that definition of that placement in the spread is, but it's also what that card means. If you're doing a success reading, as an example, if your definitions are not going to be the same as if you're doing a love reading, or a career reading, or family reading. So there's a lot of pressure to memorize everything that you need to memorize when you're learning how to read tarot or any kind of deck whatsoever. Now, I have a very, very good memory for a lot of things. I do not want to read a book and read tarot based on someone else's interpretation. Sometimes we have to because it's a traditional deck, such as the Thoth or Lenormand, where there's a particular outline that you really should be paying attention to and should be respecting the values of those decks, and in particular the spreads. But if you're like me, you don't want to put yourself under all that pressure. It should be fun. It should be, building your confidence up and feeling really good about being able to read tarot. Then intuitively reading is the way to go. I highly recommend it. So what intuitively reading means is that you pick the card up, have a look at the picture, the colors, see what color you're drawn to the most, see what the picture is telling you, see how your gut's feeling, all those sorts of things. So in the workshop, Intuitively Reading Tarot, I actually teach you how to intuitively read any deck at all, any deck at all. So it doesn't matter whether you've just got one from the second-hand shop or a pawnbroker, I think it's the term in the Northern Hemisphere, or whether you've got a brand spanking new one that you bought off the internet, or someone gave you your first deck, or someone gave you the deck that you want to learn how to read intuitively. Makes no difference. It's really, really, it's just a cool way to pick those cards up and feel like all that additional pressure is off you. You don't have to memorize anything. Everything just happens and flows, and I can teach you how to do that. So it's just really cool. There's another course as well for numerology, which is just like an amazing skill. Numerology and astrology in particular are really cool if you're struggling a little bit to throw yourselves fully into the spiritual world and throw yourselves fully into all the nuances and all the exciting stuff that you can come across in the spiritual development world, because numerology and astrology have a mathematical backing. They have a scientific backing. You can't have numerology without numbers. You can't have astrology without degrees and minutes, and it's all done mathematically. So if you're struggling a little bit to go straight into the full-on woo-woo stuff, astrology and numerology are amazing. So I've done also a course on numerology, and it will introduce you to the meanings of the numbers, what your soul expression is, what your life expression is, what your personality number, your life path number, how you can see where you're and missing any numbers from 1 through to 9, and what we can do to counteract that and to artificially bring those numbers in to balance out your chart more so you're feeling more empowered in your own life. So numerology is really cool for doing that. Of course, it wouldn't be me if I didn't have an astrology course in there. The astrology course, I know I speak fast anyway. I think I tried to get so much into this course because astrology is such a complex, layered modality. It's just it's an amazing skill to have. But if I go and learn something new, even all the time I've been doing it now, and I know that I'll be gone for 4 or 5 hours, I would just be studying, because in astrology it's like Alice in Wonderland. You just go down that rabbit hole and you're gone for hours, and then it's like, oh my God, I haven't eaten dinner. So it's a very, very cool topic. It's really cool. I touched last week on the 7 sub-personalities of ourselves, and that directly relates to astrology. So I talk in more detail about the Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs and the astrology course, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm sure you'll like that. If you're anything even closely related to horoscopes or your sun sign, or you just want to know a little bit more about yourself, astrology is a brilliant tool to be able to unravel all those gorgeous layers about yourself. Then I have spiritual tools. Now, spiritual tools is a little bit on the woo-woo side. We've stepped away from mathematics and then the scientific side of the spiritual world. And spirituality tools is about using pendulums, using Ouija boards, for example, using different ways of using pendulums as well. The steps right out from the mainstream kind of spiritual stuff. I know that I'm a medium. I still have a Ouija board. I absolutely love it. I use it with my Santa Muerte deck, and I do a traditional spread based on the Day of the Dead. So very traditional when it comes to that. And I love my Ouija board, but it's something that you need to respect and understand how to use. It's not something that everybody should dive into, absolutely, but I teach you all that respect and how to successfully use a Ouija board and how to successfully use a pendulum and how to tap in to getting a correct answer from your pendulum, because sometimes they can tell little porcupines on you, which can make getting definitive answers really difficult and very challenging and frustrating if we're not careful. So yeah. I call this, it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, and it has been my catchphrase for a very long time, but the next course is inhale the good shit, exhale the bullshit. And it really is about recentering yourself. The term that a lot of people use is grounding, and just bringing yourself back into this present moment, not getting so caught up in all the peripheral stuff and all the things that are going on around the outside of us and what that looks like, and how to not buy into the drama that sometimes we find ourselves caught in. So inhale the good shit, exhale the bullshit is all about how to bring some really cool affirmations into our bodies and think about them and breathe out anything that doesn't need to be in there. So I take you through a visualization technique in there as well about how to do that. So I know that it's not always easy to break out into tapping, which is something that we also talk in there, so emotional freedom technique. because, you know, we might be surrounded by a bunch of people, or we might be in the boardroom, or we might be in a very big traffic jam, and it's not always comfortable to be able to draw on some of these coping mechanisms that we have, such as EFT and you know, meditation. So I teach you a breathing exercise that you can do that no one will even know that you're doing it, and that will help you through that process, help you to recenter in that moment so you don't get caught into that reactive drama that so many other people have. You can kind of keep yourself where you need to be, and you know, it's a good skill to have. I've been practicing it for a very long time, and I'm not even going to pretend that it works every single time, because there are triggers. Dishonesty is a huge trigger for me. So I usually go from Zen to Psycho and then back halfway throttle the Zen versus Psycho when someone tells a lie. So, you know, but it's a practice. We're practicing it. So it's something that we do every day until we get better and better at it. So there's also, because of that, a lot of stuff that we bring through, and a lot of the stuff that we deal with as early adults and as we go through our lives relate back to our environment, how we grew up. You know, was that a traumatic childhood? Was it a great childhood? Did you have the school of the century and just have amazing adults around you? And then when you grew up, you got a real rat bag of a partner, and then thinking, well, that's not, how did this happen? And then similarly, you might have a terrible childhood and you grow up and you meet a terrible person, or you grow up and meet a fantastic person, but you're a little bit rough around the edges and you don't know how to treat that fantastic person because of the environment that you grew up in. So that's ancestral baggage. That's about stuff that we've learned environmentally, something that our parents and grandparents and forefathers and foremothers have sort of put in our DNA, and it seeps through there. So that's a whole topic on how to release that, how to identify it, how to use the emotion code, which is subconscious, it's muscle testing. So subconscious, getting your subconscious brain to work with your conscious brain to get the answers that you need to be able to identify what that baggage is, where that trauma is lying in your family, and to release it, to let it go, to honor it and say, thank you, you've made me the person that I am today, but I don't need you anymore, so rack off, Charlie. So understanding past lives and ancestral baggage, and it really is understanding it. And, you know, I've come from a long line of very difficult family members, and I can go through my life saying, but this happened, or but that happened, and this is why, and justifying being a shitty adult because of my environment and because of the things that happened to the people that were in charge of my environment. Or I can take total ownership for my reactions and take total ownership for and responsibility for the person that I am and how I treat people. So I wanted to do that. I wanted to become a better version of myself. I didn't want that ancestral baggage to impact on my life. So I started healing properly, emotion code healing, and letting go of all of that. And those skills, you know, have stayed with me since I've been doing them, and I put them into a workshop because I want to be able to teach other people the fundamentals of how to do that and how to get yourself to that point that you can still be mad with someone from your past if that's what you want to do, or you can be very hurt, or you can feel that sense of betrayal, but at some point you've got to switch that off and put your energy into making the best version of you possible. And that's what the topic teaches you about, how to do that, how to claim back your power, claim back your responsibility and accountability. So it's a very eye-opening topic because we want to be able to get right to the nitty-gritty of the issue and be able to release that issue so we can move forward in a confident, healthy manner, and then not pass along that ancestral baggage to our children. So there's also a meditation in there for past lives as well. So sometimes we bring some our soul contract and our north node and our south node are our soul contract in our astrology chart, and we touch on that in ancestral baggage in past lives, because our south node is where we've come from, what we need to let go of so we can move toward our north node and our soul contract for this lifetime, what our soul needs to understand and learn and grow from to be able to go to the next part of our journeys, or our soul journeys, not our physical journeys. So it's this, we touch on that, and we go through a meditation where I can take you down and find the last 6 of your past lives and see what they look like and see if there's anything that we need to let go of there. So it's just a cool, have a good look at everything and where we've come from and where we're going to next. So it's nice. It's a nice journey. It's a nice visualization technique. There's also invoking the warrior within, which is an empowerment topic. And when I first started having to go online with my business, because it was very word of mouth for a very, very long time, and I really wanted to be able to empower people to become better versions of themselves, to find that warrior within, that they could champion themselves and champion their emotions and champion their reactions and their triggers and understand themselves, become their own best and favorite topic. So I have a business called the Warrior Movement, and it's the movement towards being a warrior, being your own warrior, and understanding what that means. So, of course, up there with astrology, people are my favorite subjects of all time, because we can learn so much about ourselves, and all the secrets to the universe's mysteries are within us. We just don't know how to ask the questions, or if we do know how to ask the questions, we don't know how to listen to the response, because we're a lot in our logic brain. Most of the time we're not in our spiritual brain, and we don't see the messages. And I'll give you an example of what I mean by this. A lot of people see 1111 or 22 or 33, or I see 1144 a lot, always in that combination, which is just astounding. But the universe is not necessarily saying here's an angel number, here's more balance in your life, here's social environment for you. It's actually saying, hey, whatever you're thinking about right now, we need you to pay attention to your thoughts. Your thoughts are creating things. So when you see those numbers, you go, oh, there's an 11. There's 1111. It's saying, hey, you need to be in the present moment. And that's how the universe gets your attention. You spot that number, and you might be thinking about too far in advance or too far in the past. You're not here right now in this exact moment, paying attention. You could even be driving your car. You know, when you jump in your car and you get to the supermarket and you think, oh, crap, how did I get here? How did I get to the supermarket? That's your subconscious brain automatically playing the tape. It knows the way. We're creatures of habit. It knows how to get to the shops. It knows how to get to your parents' house or to your friend's house or to your local tavern or bar, I think they call them over there. So your subconscious brain takes over. And when that happens, the universe will send you little numbers. It sends you the 77 because it wants you to go, hello, what are you thinking about right now? And if you see 1111 or 77 or any of those master numbers, whatever that special number is for you, the universe is saying, pay attention to your thoughts. I need you to listen to yourself right now in this moment. So it's not necessarily the number. The number is a trigger, but it's your thoughts, what you're thinking about. That's what they want you to pay attention to. So give that a go next time you're out there and you're just driving around, minding your own business. The universe is trying to get you to pay attention to your thoughts, okay? They're the things that matter most to you. They need you to pay attention. So empowerment is all about working that out, working out what you're thinking about, how to bring yourself back into the moment, how to champion yourself, how to not be impacted by the environment that you grew up in, impacted by the abusive relationship that you might be in right now. It's all of those things. It's about being able to claim back your boundaries, putting your rules of engagement in place, letting people know that if you're going to be in my life in any frequency, in any way, shape or form, then you have to abide by my rules of engagement. And sometimes they're conversations, sometimes they're silent deals. Sometimes you align yourself so beautifully with your friends and your partner that your ethics and your moral compass are both in alignment, and you don't need to say, hey, for me, cheating is unacceptable. because your partner knows that. Their morals and their ethics and how they view relationships and that commitment they take so seriously that you don't need to explain that cheating is off, is a non-negotiable, is a deal breaker, because they understand that. That's the same rule for them. So, and I teach people how to put those boundaries in place when in invoking the warrior within, and how to get good practice at it as well. I know that when I was single, I was attracting a lot of people that were very similar traits to the relationship that I had left, and I wasn't interested in attracting those people anymore. So I practiced boundary setting on a whole bunch of first date people, and because there was no emotional attachment to them, there was no sense of duty or sense of responsibility to look after their emotions so much. I could be that little bit tougher on a stranger. And I found that was the easiest way for me to start putting some healthy boundaries in place around intimate relationships. And it worked. It was amazing. So all those skills and all those life shenanigans and experiences and challenges that I've gone through, I've created workshops for every single one of them to give you the skills that I've learned along the way. And perhaps they will resonate with you and they'll help you have a better quality of a life and improve your quality of life and improve your relationships. So soul transformation stuff. Of course, there's a mediumship. I see dead people is what I called it. And I teach you how to tap into your mediumship abilities. Everybody's got it. Everybody's got it. I don't think that there would be one person listening right now that hasn't caught a glimpse of something out of the corner of their eye, and when they've looked, there's been nothing there. Or they've just had that funny feeling that they're not by themselves. Or they've jumped in bed at night and they're reading their book, and as soon as they put their book away and turn their lamp off, they think, oh, I feel a little bit skittish. I feel a little bit like I'm not by myself. And I teach you how to understand what that frequency shift is, because someone essentially dropped a little stone in your pond. And when they do that, you feel that ripple. So you feel that something's different. You can't work out what it is. I teach you how to do that. So I see dead people. I literally do see dead people, but not everybody can see them, and that's fine. Some people can hear them. Some people can feel them or smell them or know that they are there or can interpret symbology. So sometimes spirits, especially if they've had respiratory issues, they will let me know that they've had respiratory issues towards the end of their life, so I can identify who it is that I've got with me. And then they might show me in pictures, or they might show me using symbols of what's going on, or and then I have to interpret it. Sometimes they sit down, pull a chair out, and have a whole conversation with me. Sometimes they huff at me repeatedly until I go and do that reading like I had yesterday. I had a lady huffing and huffing and huffing, and then when I got to where I needed to be yesterday to do the reading, I said, oh, she's huffing. And then I went, this is the same lady that's been huffing at me all morning. So I teach you how to do that. It's a very cool gift to have, because you turn that little bit of anxiety and fear and you turn it around, and you're able to feel a lot more confident when you get that little spidey sense, that little creepy feeling perhaps that someone else is in the room with you. I teach you how to identify it, how to ask the right questions, and how to move them along if you're not getting any response at all. So how to claim back your power when you're dealing with the spirit world, which a lot of people don't realize they've got that power. Manifesting and vision boards. Now, I've actually written a manual for manifesting because I read The Secret and I read a couple of other books, and they terrified me. I honestly thought that if I thought about getting a parking fine, I would get a parking fine, and it freaked me out. I soon worked out that is not the case at all, that you actually need to think fairly consistently, fairly regularly, and constantly pretty much about getting a parking fine for you to actually warrant and manifest a parking fine into your life, okay? So my understanding of how to manifest was very, very different. So what I did was I threw out The Secret, threw out the other two books that I had that were frightening the hell out of me, and wrote my own manual for something that I could understand in terms that were simplified terms, how to actually create vision boards, how to create a manifesting opportunity. The thing is with manifesting is you actually have to 100% believe that you are going to get that. And if you've come from an environment or from a childhood or from a family where you are treated or feel like you are worthless and that you're undeserving, manifesting is hard as balls, okay? It's hard because you already had that mindset that you don't deserve it. So how are you going to trick yourself into thinking that you don't deserve, that you do deserve it, when at the back of your mind constantly you've got this, I'm not good enough. I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm horrible, nobody loves me, nobody likes me. You've got all those feelings. It's really hard to manifest beautiful things in your life because your conditioning, your habit forming is so negatively geared that it's really hard to reach for something positive and believe that it's yours and you can hold it in your hand. So I teach you how to let go of all of that stuff. I teach you how to identify triggers that are causing you to not be a really good manifester. And then I teach you how to manifest based on where the moon was, what day you were born, well, when the next new moon coming in. It's very ritualistic. You don't have to take your clothes off and howl at the moon, okay? But you do need to be aware that ritualistic stuff, and that's what will stand out for you. That's how you create that manifesting magnificence, basically. So, yeah. And then, of course, vision boards. My whole life is a vision board. Every year I create a new vision board. Every year I tick everything off. And I tick it off as I achieve on my vision board because sometimes we get so caught up in our lives that we forget that we're actually going somewhere. So by me ticking it off my vision board, I'm saying, yes, I've got it. I've achieved this. And I can see that it's actually working. So I teach you how to do that too. I teach you how to create a good manifesting regime, ritual, and I also teach you how to create great vision boards to make sure that you're manifesting into your life what you actually want. And the last workshop is crystal therapy, which is everything crystals, how to use them, how to tap into their frequency, how to use them for intuitive abilities, how to pick one for somebody else, how to pick one for yourself, how to wear them. So if you like any of these workshops, they are $45 Australian per class. You can buy them in a bulk if you like. Please do PM me or check me out on my website, www.insightsbyjohnita.com. I'm also on Twitter and I'm also on Instagram, and you will, of course, find me on Facebook. And that's it for me this week. So, again, workshops are downloadable, okay? So I send them to your email and then you download them. They are yours to keep. It is not a login. It's not a monthly ongoing fee. It's $45 Australian per workshop, and you can have it for life. So if you're interested, please do sing out to me. Let me know. Once again, my name is Johnita Francis, and I am from Insights by Johnita. And it is always a pleasure to be here on A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV.